All right, everybody. How's it going? Back again. I figured I'd do something a little bit different this time. I figured I'd tell y'all a story because something kind of interesting has happened lately, a couple days ago. Not really interesting, really. I mean, it's interesting in a way that everything that fucking could go bad went bad. So I don't know if it's a cautionary tale about why you should never feel at ease, because shit's just gonna go wrong, or whether it's just a funny story. I don't know, but I figured I'd tell y'all what happened. So it all started a couple days ago. If you don't know, if you've watched my previous last videos, you'll know that I'm working in the electrical field as an electrician's apprentice. So basically my story revolves around that. So there's a thing us electricians do, or people in the electrical field do every now and then. We change services or change breaker boxes, and typically it's a pretty big job. It requires 8 hours of work for 2 people about, and it's very intricate. It requires a lot of patience and diligence, and you could easily mess something up if you were to put a wire in the wrong place. For instance, you could easily mess something up. So it requires a lot of tact and organization. You got to make sure you have the right parts and everything. So that being said, this is kind of a example of why that's important, why you should be careful, and why you should do all these things. But also, there's a lot of stuff that we really couldn't prepare for. Maybe we could, but you can only be prepared to a degree. You can't have your eye on everything all at once. It just doesn't work that way. So, to get back to my story, it all started a couple of days ago. We were scheduled for one of these service changeouts, and we were supposed to get there at 8:30, which is the regular start time, and my journeyman actually showed up around 9:30, so about an hour after we're supposed to get started, which honestly it can kind of be a big deal. Like an hour of work being jeopardized, it can actually slow you down quite a lot. You got to make sure you have all your time. So you want to start at the regular time, if not early. So I was just waiting patiently outside the customer's home. I introduced myself and everything, but I was just like, yeah, he'll be here in a little bit. I'm not sure when he'll be here, but an hour goes by. We get started, right? We're off to a great start. And we both kind of know exactly what to do, and we just go with the flow, and we're doing great. We tear everything down. We got the all the circuits labeled, all the 240 circuits. That's really important. You want to pair them up properly, twist the wires together so you don't get them confused, because some of them you can easily get them mixed up as a neutral or something like that. But as long as you take the time to label everything and you're just careful, you should be okay. So we tear everything down, and actually Centerpoint, which is the energy provider that we had to wait for, they kind of took their time. They usually drag their feet. It's a big city. I guess they're understaffed, whatever. They come out there, they shut us down. so we can pull the feeders out of the meter and out of the breaker box. So everything's going good. Everything's going good. And it's the end of the day. It's probably about, I want to say like 350, maybe like 340. And we realize that the tandem breakers we were going to use are not fitting the bus bar of the Square D QO panel. They don't snap on like the other breakers. Like, they have this big ass hook on them, and they're just not wanting to fit on there right. So we messed around with that for a little bit. He calls some people, and this is a big deal because the breaker box is chock full of breakers. Like, it's almost completely filled out. So these circuits have to be on tandems. A tandem, if you don't know, is a breaker that kind of accounts for 2 breaker spaces. So, meaning you could land 2 wires on 1 breaker that fills in 1 space. So you could potentially land a whole bunch of circuits, like your lighting circuits and plugs. So it's a good way to consolidate space inside a panel. So we realize these breakers aren't fitting right, and we do a little research. He calls his dad because his dad's a master electrician, and his dad is like, "Oh yeah, you got the wrong breaker. It's not. You gotta get the right breaker." So he calls City Electric and puts in an order to get these tandem breakers. I actually go there, and he hands me the box with the breakers in them. And they look the exact same as the breakers that didn't fit the bus bar that we had originally. And just as I was about to call him, he calls me, and he tells me, "Hey man, we gotta tear everything down and start from scratch. We gotta put an Eden breaker box with Eden breakers. Also, the panel is too high. It's gotta be 6'3" to the main breaker. And right now it's like 7 feet high to the main breaker. It's ridiculous. The panel is like way up on the wall. So I'm like, fuck, are you serious? That's crazy. We gotta do this all over again? I guess there really was no other way. I mean, it turns out that the breaker box is not compatible with tandems whatsoever, and they never made tandems for that specific panel. So, I mean, I don't know, what can you do? I mean, I don't know if you could add a sub panel, it'd be faster, but that would look kind of janky, or I don't think that would really work. And if we have to lower the panel, that's kind of fucked. That means we basically have to take every wire off, because you can't just move a panel down or up or any direction, you know. It's kind of stuck in place once everything is landed. So I mean, I guess you could build out a concrete form underneath it, like a step. I've seen someone do that before, like an older commercial guy. But anyway, okay, so I go to this Elliott Electric Supply, which is basically the supply house for Eaton products. So City Electric is Square D, Eden is Elliott, basically. So I go there because that's where the order is for all our Eden breakers and our Eden panel. So I go there, and believe it or not, my phone fucking dies. Yep, my phone dies. And because it's overheating. I don't know if I'm like overclocking the CPU or whatever, or maybe just being out in the hot summer sun just made it overheat, but my phone prematurely shuts off and I can't get the damn PIN number for the account. So I need the PIN number in order to get the materials. I asked him, hey, could I do this without the PIN? He said, no, you need the PIN. I'm not going to argue with this guy. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I really need that PIN. I guess it's just how it is. So I try to charge my phone in the car. It's not charging. I think something's wrong with my phone cord or the cigarette lighter USB block I have. So I try to charge it on their phone cord. The dude at the supply house has his cord plugged into his computer. I said, hey man, I'm not going to give you a virus, but can I borrow that for like 5 minutes and just charge up my phone? I need to call my journeyman, get this PIN number. And it's also, keep in mind, this is like 10 minutes till close time. So I'm sure he was kind of reluctant to let me borrow that. But anyway, I convince him. I let it charge. I call him. And he says, hey man, fuck this. We're just going to go tomorrow. We're going to go tomorrow and it's too late to do any of this. So we're going to have to give the customer a hotel on the company's behalf. I was like, really? Oh my God. That's crazy. Never before has this happened. So, oh, and I should also note that I have all of his, all of my stuff as at the job site when he calls me and tells me this. Like all my tools, all my chargers, all my drills, my saw, my hand tools, all my shit is at the job site. And I have his gas card because I was going to get gas while I was getting supplies because we get a $40 allowance for gas. So, all my stuff is over there and he's like, all right, dude, you know what? You can just leave your stuff with me because you're probably going to end up being with me tomorrow. I already talked to the office. I'm not sure if he did, but he was under the impression that I was going to be with him the following day, which I thought so too. So I was like, all right, I just left my stuff there with him and he put it in his van. Okay, so let's fast forward to the next day. We plan to meet at Elliott Electric Supply at 7:30 a.m., right when they open, so we can get our materials and finish the job as soon as we can. So that's what we do. And I bring his gas card, he has all my tools. So we exchange the stuff and we're there at Elliott. And we make damn sure we got the right stuff. We look at all the materials, we're like, all right, yeah, this is it. Nothing can stop us now. We can do this. So we have a fresh start to the day. We're full of energy. We both know exactly what we need to do. So we're ready to go. And actually, we have another thing to do at that same house. We have to run a circuit of SO wire to a car charger in this guy's garage. So there's a point in the circuit where we have to run some pipe into the panel, and it's 3/4 pipe. And I thought the SO was way too thick for the 3/4. So I brought it to his attention. I tell him, hey, do you think this is almost verbatim what I told him. Hey, do you think this 3/4 pipe is too small for this SO? It seems like we'd have a lot of problems there. Maybe we should use 1 inch. It's like, nah. He just kind of glazes over me and disregards what I'm saying, but yeah, I guess, well, you'll see where the story goes. And a lot of this is just circumstance, wrong place, wrong time. and just silly stuff happening that is kind of out of our control, or just ridiculous stuff. The main thing was those tandem breakers weren't compatible. I feel like we should have known our materials, and you always want to like check over your materials before you even leave the store. So, but anyway, barring that, we head to the job site. We have all the right stuff. We take everything down. At this point, we're rocking and rolling. We got all our batteries charged. We're doing great. We know exactly what we're doing and how we're gonna do it. We tear everything down. We get to the point where we have to cut holes for our new panel so we could fit it on the wall with the pipes. So we make our measurements and we start drilling our holes. We use hole saws, and oh my god, this is where shit just hits the fan. Because I've never seen this happen ever in my history as an electrician's apprentice. I've only been doing this for like a couple of years, but even then, this seems so bizarre. And looking back, I guess it kind of makes sense that this would happen, but I kind of have a hunch as to why it happened. But we start using these hole saws to cut our holes, and the first hole saw, the teeth wither away almost immediately, like it rendering the hole saws ineffective. So we throw that hole saw away, and we use another 2.5-inch hole saw. Same shit happens. The teeth just grind off. So at this point, we're like, damn, what the hell? I've never seen this happen. So there's an Ace Hardware across the street. He tells me, hey, go get another hole saw. And if this doesn't work, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do. But let's just hope that it works. So I go across the street to the Ace Hardware and I get another hole saw. And my hunch is that these hole saws didn't work because the first arbor of the first hole saw was bigger. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. You guys probably didn't even notice I left, but I had to make a cut there. Anyway, so the first arbor of the hole saw must have been too big compared to the second one, so the second one couldn't sit in there steadily, so it was bouncing around, so we couldn't cut an even hole, and that's why we had so much trouble. But anyway, we're basically like 3 hole saws deep. All of them are fucked up, and we need a knockout kit. Basically, we come to the conclusion that, and we should have done this originally, or he should have had a knockout kit, or maybe I should have had one. Even as an apprentice, it's good to have. We come to the conclusion that we need a knockout kit. So we check online. We go to Harbor Freight's website. We go to Home Depot, Lowe's, what have you. Nobody has a knockout kit. It's actually a very rare item, which is strange because electricians use them on the regular. So for whatever reason, it's just a rare item. So on Home Depot's website, however, they say that they have a knockout kit in stock. But when you click on the advertisement for it, it shows delivery only, not available for in-store pickup. And I actually point that out to him. He was about to send me there. And he finds this other knockout kit on Home Depot's website. It's like a Klein knockout kit. And I'm not really like looking at the description or whatever, but come to realize it's also for delivery only. But I'll get to that in a little bit, because that's like that. I'll get to that in a little bit. So he tells me to go to the Home Depot in Porter. Porter is about 20 minutes from where we're working at. So I go about 20 minutes away to Porter, Texas, to the Home Depot, and I'm looking for this knockout kit. And I talked to maybe like 3 people in there because I'm trying to find it. And right now I'm actually kind of getting a little frustrated because I don't want a repeat of the previous day, because it's just awful. I'm kind of in low spirits. So turns out it's available for delivery only. Or it's not even there. It's not even listed on the website or anything. Like, the one he was looking at was the listing for the Humble Home Depot, which is just south of Porter, about 15 minutes. So I'm like, fuck! Oh man, I'm at the wrong Home Depot. So I go over there, and guess what? It's not available in store. It's available for delivery only. So, but I had to get some other supplies from there anyway. So he wanted me to get a wood bit and some other thing. So he actually calls me and says, hey, what do you think? What can we do? And I'm like, maybe we could call somebody in the area. There's a lot of technicians who work for this company that have knockout kits. So maybe we could just borrow one from someone nearby. Or I could go get it, or whatever, you know? I'm just spitballing here. I'm trying to brainstorm ideas. So I want to get this over with. So I end up going to the shop because we have a knockout kit at our main office. And our main office is 35 minutes away. So I go there and go back with the knockout kit. When I go there, I'm looking around for it. I probably spend like 5 minutes getting it. Not too bad, but it is kind of a long drive. So I come back with this knockout kit, and we get to using it. And we finally get the holes done and get our panel mounted so we can wire everything up. And at this point, I am so relieved that we got it up there. I'm also ready to just get on with my life. Like, I didn't want to be there. I'm defeated. Basically demoralized. You know, it's been a rough, like, past 2 days of just shit being all convoluted and just not working out. So I actually had to leave at about 3:30 that day because I had to go to the courthouse. So I go to the courthouse, and he actually went back to the supply store to get 1-inch pipe for that circuit I mentioned earlier, because the 3/4 is not working with the SO wire. It's too skinny. It's too thin. So he actually ended up going over there and getting that 1-inch. So I actually left. He knew I was going to leave. But I took all my tools with me because I wasn't sure when I'd be back, because sometimes the courthouse takes a long time. And I don't want to be in a position where all my tools are with him and I get sent somewhere else in the morning. Actually, I wasn't even supposed to go to work that day. And the only reason why I requested to work with him is because all my stuff was with him already. I actually had the day off. But because my dumbass left all my tools with him, and this won't happen again, guys, but because I left all my tools with him, I'm kind of tied to him and tied to the job in a way. You know, I can't just be like, hey, let me get my tools, haha, see you later, have fun. You know, I don't want to be rude. Anyway, this is getting kind of long, so I might make a part 2 to this. So Y'all take care, guys, and I'll come back with a part 2. It gets better, or it gets worse, or maybe a little bit of both. It'll be interesting nonetheless.